We just didn't know it yet. It wasn't a bang, or a flash, or an invasion. It was a sound. A low, resonant hum that started in the bones and worked its way out. For a moment, the city froze. Car alarms blared in dissonant symphony, then cut out. The traffic lights on 5th and Main went dark and stayed dark. I was in my apartment, staring at a blinking cursor on a blank document. When the hum faded, a different sound replaced it. A whisper, seeping from the walls themselves. It wasn't in any language I knew, but I understood it. It said, "You have 5 minutes." A frantic look out my window confirmed I wasn't crazy. People were stumbling into the streets, hands clamped over their ears, their own faces mirrors of my confusion and dawning terror. They heard it, too. The same message echoing in a million skulls at once. 4 minutes, 50 seconds. Panic, pure and simple, erupted. A man in a business suit began beating his head against a lamppost. A woman simply sat on the curb and started pulling out her own hair, fistful by fistful. But it was Mrs. Gable in the apartment across from mine who truly showed me what was happening. She was standing in her window, a serene smile on her face. She picked up a pair of sewing scissors, looked right at me, and calmly, methodically, began cutting out her own tongue. This wasn't a warning. It was a countdown to a verdict. And the sentence was freedom. Freedom from consequence. 3 minutes, 10 seconds. I backed away from the window, my heart a trapped bird against my ribs. The whisper was inside me now, a silken worm in my brain. No judgment. No tomorrow. Just the truth of what you are. I looked at the kitchen block. The knives stood there, clean and sharp. I thought of my boss, who had humiliated me that morning. I thought of the neighbor whose dog barked all night. The thoughts weren't angry. They were practical. Like sorting through tools for the right job. 2 minutes. A crash from the hallway. Then screaming, but it was cut short with a wet, gurgling sound. Laughter followed, high and hysterical. The lock on my front door began to jiggle. Someone was out there. Someone who now knew exactly what they wanted, and it was on my side of the door. 1 minute. The jiggling became pounding. The wood around the deadbolt splintered. I backed into the corner, my eyes darting between the shaking door and the knives. The whisper was a roar now, a chorus of a billion liberated souls urging me on. Be real. Be you. What are you waiting for? 30 seconds. The door exploded inwards. It was Mr. Henderson, the quiet accountant from 3B. His shirt was torn, his face smeared with something dark. In his hand was a fire axe. He wasn't looking at me with hatred or rage. He looked at me with a kind of hunger. A pure, uncomplicated desire. 10. The whisper stopped. The pounding in my head ceased. The world went utterly, profoundly silent. The only sound was the ragged rasp of my own breath and Henderson's low, eager panting. 5. He took a step forward, the axe dragging along the floor. 4. I looked at the knives. I looked at him. 3. My fear didn't vanish. It just became irrelevant. 2. A smile stretched my lips. It didn't feel like my own. 1. Henderson charged. My hand didn't go for the knives. It went for the heavy, marble bookend on the shelf beside me. As he raised the axe, I didn't duck or plead. I stepped into his swing, and with a clarity I had never known, I brought the marble down, not on his head, but on the arm holding the axe. There was a crack, sickening and loud in the silence. He screamed, a sound without an echo in the dead world. The axe clattered to the floor. I picked it up. The weight felt good. Right. He looked up at me, clutching his shattered arm, his eyes wide with a new, familiar emotion, fear. The whisper didn't return. It didn't need to. The message was complete. The 5 minutes weren't for the world to end. They were for the rules to end. the last 5 minutes were just the beginning. I hefted the axe and took a step towards him. Outside, the symphony of silence was beginning to be punctuated by new, creative, and very personal sounds.